Pat Condell. Same shit, different shirt. Hello, Richard the Dick Coughlin 666. Pat, why do you do this to me? Why? Why? I'm not subscribed to you, but I can see from my friend activity when you've made a new video. And when you make a video, I have to sit there and go, don't watch it. Don't watch it, because if you watch it, and he's going to say something, stupid, and I'm going to have to go and research that stupid thing he said, and then I'm going to find out what that stupid thing he said is, and I'm going to have to make a video saying there likes to be this idea that I only ever respond to Pat Condell when he makes videos about Muslims. However, even though the first two videos I made about him were actually about politics. However, that being said, just to even the balance now, I'm gonna deal with part of his video. He goes on about this idea about Jesus was Horus and Jesus was Mithras. Now, this is basically the idea that is pimped out by the film Zeitgeist, and I know Zeitgeist is an atheist fucking methadone. That film. When I first saw it, I went for it. I thought that's bloody brilliant, right? However, it has been quite savagely debunked, the whole thing. Now, I'm going to deal with the two videos he linked in the description, which dealt with the Horus Mithras case. Now, I made notes on this a while ago because I was going to do a video on Zeitgeist. So let's deal with the first one, and there's going to be links to all the videos, to all the sources for this, and there's going to be below. Right, so let's deal with the first part here. This is going to be dealing just with the basic claims of Horus. Now, so I'm reading this off because I haven't learned it fully, but here we go, right. First of all, there is a claim that Horus was, and this is from the film Zeitgeist, there was a claim that Horus was a sun god around 3000 BC. Horus was the god of the sky. Ra was the god of the sun. That's the first one. Now let's just deal with the similarities between him and Jesus that are proposed. Horus was not born on the 25th of December. He was born on the 5th day of sorry, I don't know if I pronounced it right. Ipagamemnal Day, which do not even take place in December. They take place between the 24th and the 28th of August. Any Egyptologist will tell you this. You can find on the internet or anywhere, there are no references anywhere to a star in the east, three kings, or a newborn saviour. That was simply made up in the film. There is no sources proving that he was a teacher since when he was the age of 12, that he was baptised at the age of 30, that he walked on water, but there were claims that I found that he was thrown into water. And there's also no evidence to prove that he was referred to as the truth, the light, and the Lamb of God. This is all made up. Horus also did not have 12 disciples, right? He had 4 semi-divine disciples called Heru Shemshu, right? Followers of Horus, right? He did have 16 human followers. You can also find reference to loads of unnumbered followers who were called the Mesniu, or blacksmiths, right? Who accompanied Horus into some of his battles, right? But nowhere can you find 12 of fucking anything. Horus never actually died as well. This was the other thing about the myth of Horus. Horus never died at any time. He does later emerge with the sun god Ra, but he never dies, and certainly was never crucified. And therefore he couldn't have been buried and 3 days later resurrected. If you want to look it up yourself, look in the links below. Now, regarding Mithras. My aid. The myths and legends of Mithras are numerous in amount and span over several different cultures, right? Just like every other religion. It's kind of difficult to track down too much information on Mithras, although there are Mithrasist scholars who I could find certain information. There is no evidence of his birthday being the 25th of December. The only dates that correspond to him are a festival in October the 8th, another one in September the 12th to the 16th, and a cattle pairing festival in October the 12th to the 16th. There is no evidence anywhere that he had 12 disciples, or again, 12 of anything. No Mithrasist scholar seems to know about it anyway. He was not born of a virgin, rather he was born of solid rock. Right? You could argue that a rock is a virgin, but no, okay? But that seems to be a long shot, right? Also, for the sake of further information, he was born a fully grown man. There is no evidence of any resurrection of Mithra. In fact, there was no evidence that he even ever died. Roman Mithratic evidence dates to the late century and at time of the New Testament. As stated earlier, in a history of the god, it's highly complex and covers a lot of areas. It is true that Sunday is the sacred day of Mithra, but Sunday was only the sacred day of Mithra to Romans. So, thank you again, Pat, for promoting more bullshit, right? Now, I agree with you. Some people are going to say, yeah, but it's all bollocks anyway. It doesn't matter. You don't debunk bullshit with made-up bullshit. Let's say, look at it this way. Let's say you're a Christian and you watch this shit, right? You're a Christian and this makes you think, well, obviously Christianity is not true then. I'm not gonna believe in that anymore. I'm gonna be an atheist. And they become an atheist. Then they find out, they do some research, which Pat Condell constantly seems, oblivious to. He seems to have a research blocker. And then they find out that actually this stuff Actually, it's not related to it at all. There's no evidence of this, and in fact, a lot of the claims of this are actually made up bullshit. Then what's going to happen? They're going to go back to Christianity for the fucking... You can't be... it's okay, yes, you can argue that they might believe the right thing if they become an atheist, but they're believing it for the wrong reason. And if they find out that that reason is wrong, it could make them go back to the wrong side for the right reasons then. So that's the first part, right? You don't fight bullshit with bullshit, you don't fight crazy with crazy, you don't fight bigotry with bigotry, zealotry with zealotry, fundamentalism with fundamentalism, which Condell seems to constantly fucking not get through to his stupid little grey head. If you're one of these people who likes an argument from authority, because you're going to say, well, Condell said it, so Condell is right. Right, I'm going to leave links in the bottom, in the description bar, to the Atheist Experience blog and a clip from the Atheist Experience show, where you will see and read Matt Dillahunty talking about now Matt Dillahunty is as big anti-theist as you can get, right? And he is sitting there talking about what a pile of shit Zeitgeist is, and these claims about Mithras and Horus, right? Yes, there are similarities, but if you got 10 random people and gave them a bit of paper and said, write down 10 supernatural or superhuman qualities, superpowers, if you will, that you would expect a mythological deity or a son of God to have, they would write down possibly about the same sort of 10 things, wouldn't they? So the similarities do not link that they're the same. I agree, I don't believe Christianity's right, but I don't believe promoting bullshit in order to fucking prove that is right either. But let's get to the part of his fucking video description. I'm going to leave links to D-Land & Cole, who I recommend you subscribe to, and Physical Conservative. Again, there's a petition in the description box of Pat Condell's video to a petition online. And this is a petition to pass a bill in America. Oh, what is it again, Pat? Again, I thought you hate it when foreigners interfere with domestic issues. So why do you think it's okay for you to constantly interfere in American issues, right? This was a bill, right? This is a bill set up, right? It's called, get this is beautiful, the Jihad Prevention Act. Now, bearing in mind, you have to have a completely bizarre definition of what the hell a jihad actually is in order for you to think there can be a prevention act. This is an act that was attempted to be passed by a guy called Tom Tancredo. Now, the Americans will already know probably who Tom Tancredo. He's known by many people as Tom, I'm batshit insane Tancredo. This is a guy who advocated if there was an Islamic an act of Islamic terrorism in America again, right? He advocated nuking Mecca as a way of responding. What a brilliant way to promote fucking peace and harmony. Tom Tancredo has also had a book published by WorldNet Daily, which seems to be Pat Condell's favourite new website. So you don't mind aligning yourself with fundamentalist Christian nutters, do you? Tom Tancredo also recently, and this is about 3 weeks ago, Tom Tancredo actually said that Barack Obama is the greatest threat to America that there has ever been. Presumably that means it's greater than Islam. But of course, Barack Obama is a Muslim, as we know. Right? But this Jihad Prevention Act, this is... Now, bearing in mind, the First Amendment in America, freedom of expression. The freedom of expression, right? Freedom of speech. The freedom to believe and say whatever the fuck you want. This bill that Pat Condell is promoting, right, means that any immigrant who comes into America has to sign a form saying they would never advocate for a Sharia law. Now, the fact that Muslims make up 1% of American population, right? 1%. And there are 76% Christian. 1%. They're never going to implement Sharia law anyway. It's ridiculous. But they have to sign saying they not try and push the idea in politics. No, advocate. They're not allowed to voice their opinion. This is a man, Pat Condell, you made a video once called Freedom of Speech Can Go to Hell. I hate to break this to you. Freedom, when you want to live in a free society, grow a set of nuts, my friend, because you're going to hear things you don't like. And if someone wants to say, yeah, we allow the Westboro Baptist Church to say whatever they want because they have the right to say that, right? And they shouldn't be stopped from saying it. I don't agree with it, I fucking hate it, but they have the right to say it. And if we let them say it, it's a lot easier for us to deal with it, isn't it? But no, anyone who advocates, who so much as dares to say that I think there should be Sharia law, like they organise a protest or something, they publicly advocate, right? They will be kicked out of the country, even if they're a citizen. If they're a naturalised citizen, not just someone who's there on a visa, a short-term visa. If they so much as say, yeah, I like Sharia law in America, just say it, kicked out. Now, there's a word for that. It's called a thought crime. So Pat Condell, you advocate thought crimes now, do ya? And no, I don't want Sharia law. I've said this before anyone lays this on me. No, I don't. But I don't think people should be stopped from expressing their opinion. I've just spent the last few weeks having a hell of a trouble talking about the BNP. Now, I dislike the BNP. You don't need me to tell you that. But they have the sodding right to say it. And I wouldn't advocate for them to be made to shut up. Particularly threatening to kick them out. It's ridiculous. And you're fucking ridiculous for wanting it. Fucking Richard Vick, Coffin 66. Good night, mate. God bless. Fuck Pat Condell.